Well, the government of Kenya is using accreditation services to drive and enhance trade, as well as facilitate small business enterprises. And this is paying off because it is helping in remove technical barriers to trade. And tonight on Inside the Government, we want to discuss how accreditation services are enhancing trade as well as driving socio-economic development. And joining us in studio is none other than the CEO of Kenya Accreditation Services. This is Dr. Walter Ongeti. He's joining us in studio to help us understand what is the role of KENAS, or Kenya Accreditation Service, in driving Kenya's socio-economic development. He's here with us and he's joining us tonight. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Ali, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
How is Kenya Accreditation Service?
Kenya Accreditation Service is doing well. It is good. We are glad that we continue to play our role in enhancing the economy, in driving the economic agenda, in enhancing the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. So we are very, very glad to play that role across the economy.
And how do you do that?
Our role as Kenya Accreditation Service is really to play an oversight role after assessing what we call conformity assessment bodies. These are the bodies that conduct certain specific activities. These activities include inspection activities. Inspection meaning these entities check products for their quality, check the variety of the goods and services. They basically do inspection work. We also assess and accredit testing laboratories. There are different laboratories that undertake general testing, be it for water quality, fertilizer, soil testing, all manner of general testing. And there are also laboratories that are medical in nature, the medical laboratories that you would find in either as a standalone medical testing laboratory or within a medical facility. There are also entities that do certification. They certify products after those products meet certain specifications. There are also entities that certify persons, that these persons meet certain qualifications to be able to undertake a certain vocation. So these entities are the entities that, and then the Kenya Accreditation Service is mandated to confirm that they have the competence, that they apply methods that are acceptable universally and globally, that they have the skill sets and the competence to be able to undertake those duties and tasks and responsibilities. Those three broad categories of certification, inspection, and testing. So once we assess, then we are able to give assurance to the third-party users, be it any stakeholders, be it consumers, regulators, importers and exporters, that these entities have the competence, and if they check, if they inspect, if they test, then you can trust them. So that is what the Kenya Accreditation Service does.
And so it's like you are the accreditor for accreditation bodies.
Yes. So
is it proper to say that?
So you're almost there. We accredit. Put it this way: we check the checker. So let's say the checker here is the medical laboratory, where a patient will walk in to conduct a test as it may have been prescribed by their doctor. So our role is to check this person who is meant to check the patient. Do they have the competence to check? Do they have the skill sets to check? Do the equipment, can the equipment be trusted to give the results as can be acceptable globally? So our role is to check the checker, and that is the accreditation part of it.
Are you playing alone in this role? Because, there are other agencies like the Kenya Bureau of Standards, the Kenya Health Inspection Services. Where do you come in, as a player?
Yes. Very good question, O'Brien. This ecosystem is an ecosystem in which we play in. It's called the quality infrastructure. Inside that quality infrastructure, as you rightfully put it, you have the Bureau of Standards. In this case, our national standards body is the Kenya Bureau of Standards, KBC. And it has its mandate. As we shall unpack moving forward, the mandate of the Bureau of Standards in this case will basically be to be able to create the standards, the national standards, also participate in setting up and establishing the international standards, because then these are the standards that have various specifications in there for the different goods and services that are to be traded. Now, that will be the standards body. And of course, it has more
to set and enforce standards.
Absolutely. And of course, it has its own pipeline all the way to the International Standards Organization. And then in the same ecosystem, which I refer to as the quality infrastructure, you have the regulators. In this case, you have a regulator like Kenya National Highways Authority. You have a regulator like the National Transport Safety Authority. The Kenya Bureau of Standards is also another regulator in there. You have the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council. Different in all these sectors, there are different regulators who set the regulatory framework that is supposed to guide that particular sector. So we work with them as well. Then there are those entities we said we check, which are what we refer to as the conformity assessment body. They are the ones who check conformance, or that whatever it is that they're checking, if you're testing water, there are internationally agreed specifications that if this water is fit for human consumption, it should meet certain requirements. So they are the ones who check. They also are in that infrastructure, so to speak. And of course, we have other players. So we have the government in there. We have, the final consumers in there. All of those fit into the quality infrastructure. So we cannot then, therefore, O'Brien, play alone. Everybody plays their role to ensure that then the system is functioning appropriately and ultimately then facilitating trade.
It is important to tell our viewer that the Kenya Bureau of Standards and the Kenya Accreditation Service, they share a certain history until 2007, before they were separated.
Yes.
What was the whole point of separating the two entities?
These entities all of us were under the Bureau of Standards, KENAS being a department in there. And of course, for separation, for impartiality, so that one can check the other. Remember that the Bureau of Standards not only participates and drives the agenda of setting the standards, but they also have other activities which then require that the Kenya Accreditation Service checks. What I talked about, for example, testing. They undertake testing in there, various products. So that if you would want, for instance, your water certified, they would run a multiple number of laboratories in there. They also certify products. And they also run and operate a certification body for many people, many entities. I think even KBC here says we are ISO 9001 certified, and most likely you would get the services from a certification body. Kenya Bureau of Standards runs that. So it became wise that the checker and the one being checked cannot be in one institution. And that was the essence of separating.
You can't be the player and the referee at the same time.
Absolutely. So In those circumstances, then it became necessary to have a certification body, inspection body, or testing, and also as a standards body as KBC is, operate on its own, and of course then the checker, the super checker, being KENAS, operate as a separate entity for that solid impartiality. Yeah.
As KENAS, you've been around now for 15 years?
Yes. So the Kenya Accreditation Service, first of all, the accreditation services themselves date back way in the 70s all the way to the 80s, and of course then the legal notice establishing KENAS came into play in 2007, and of course then eventually later on the Kenya Accreditation Service as a body corporate established under the Kenya Accreditation Service Act, and then came in force in 2019, and that act then has also gone through amendment
2009
in 2024. Yes,
very well. So what would you highlight as key milestones for KENAS since it was formed?
There are many. There are many. But the major milestone for Kenya Accreditation Service was to achieve what is called the recognition status. Now, an accreditation body is only as solid an accreditation body if when you accredit that entity we talked about as a conformity assessment body, and it issues the certificate. For example, a body is undertaking inspection of avocado being exported to, let's say, China. That certificate should be accepted in China as if those avocado are inspected in China. So to do that, then there is need for mutual recognition that the certificate being issued by the body that inspected avocado in Kenya can be accepted in China or any other any other ecosystem that is within the mutual recognition arrangement. So the major milestone for Kenya Accreditation Service was when it received the recognition status of the various categories of what we call schemes or scopes with which we undertake accreditation in. So for you to realize this, it means you have to build competence yourselves as an accreditation body. And KENAS has been building competence over the years to be able to cover as many scopes as possible. So far, as I mentioned, we have been able to get recognition status within, and that recognition status means that the certificates issued by entities accredited by KENAS can be accepted in over 150 countries globally. And so this recognition status puts us equivalent to other entities which operate in this particular ecosystem, and that has been a major milestone. Of course, the other major milestone which we've already touched in is to be able to have its own legislative framework, now having an act and operating as an entity, and way back also standing alone as an organization, which is the Kenya Accreditation Service Act. There are also other institutional benefits and growth that the institution has gone through, including being able to be solidly staffed, having solid structures as an organization, and also being increasingly trusted by entities that seek accreditation. And so far, we have over 280 entities that we have accredited, not only in Kenya, but in also 12 other African countries.
You're talking about capacitating KENAS, and for KENAS to play its mandate accordingly. There must be, of course, resources, financial resources, human resources. How many employees do you have currently?
Currently, we have a full-time staff complement of around 70 employees.
70.
Yes, but the framework within which accreditation bodies operate is that the core staff, the ones who undertake the assessment, the checking, so that then they confirm competence, are also drawn. They must be having expertise, they must be practicing. It is a peer network of sorts. Mm-hmm. So we have a pool of that cohort of what we may just refer to as part-time staff of over 200 of them, over and above the 70 who are full-time. Mm-hmm. So these will be operating in let's say, other medical laboratories. They will be operating in other certification bodies. They are operating in an inspection entity. So when we want to use their resource, then we pull them and send them to another entity to undertake the exercise of assessment. So the 70 will be the full-time and another wide pool, and we continue growing this pool of over 200.
Would you say 70 are enough for the services that you are mandated to carry?
Oh, it would be desirous to have more. Resources.
More for you would be how many?
Resources, of course, just now we've gone through a review of our instruments, our structures by the Public Service Commission, and from the preliminary assessment, the proposal is to have around 90 to be able to sustain us for the next probably 5 years.
So you need to hire 20 more permanent?
Yes. However, our focus is also largely to have the core staff, the ones who drive our core mandate, and these are the ones where we are looking forward to grow even more in terms of numbers, and these need not be the full-time members of staff. And of course, when we benchmark with other entities which are our equivalent across the globe, we find that we can actually increase efficiency even with the number that I've referred to, because then other accreditation bodies, like for instance the Chinese National Accreditation Service, has around 16,000 clients, and they just have around 200 full-time members of staff. So our equivalent in South Africa have 2,200 clients, and they operate at around 70 or thereabout members of staff on full-time, because then they build competence of the part-time pool of staff. Yes.
You were telling me that there are 12 accreditation bodies in Africa. This is out of 54 countries that we have.
Yeah.
Is it hard or is it technical to have an accreditation body? Otherwise, why would you have such a small pool of accreditation bodies in Africa?
Oh yes, it is not easy to get to the status, for instance, where Kenya sits today. It is a journey that takes a long time. It could take an accreditation body maybe 2 decades or so.
So 20 years.
To be able to build the competence, to be able to be trusted, to be able to be checked, because we are also checked by others to confirm that we have the competence to train the assessors, to be able to run a solid system. It takes a long period of time. So what happens is that in certain economies, like the SADC region, they chose to have one accreditation body that serves that entire economy. So that kind of body is a multi-economy accreditation body. They say, okay, we don't want to run our own accreditation body each country. We'll pick one. It will be a multi-economy accreditation body. So
they pick South Africa.
The SADCAS operates in SADC with the exemption of South Africa itself, which has its own. Okay, so that's how they structured it in their wisdom. The ECOWAS has also its own accreditation body which serves that economy. It's also a multi-economy accreditation body. But by and large, again, you can have, like now, our counterparts in Uganda who have set up an accreditation body. But as I said, then it takes a process of putting together a system, a quality management system, being able to build competence of your team of the technical experts who must have expertise in the primary function that they are going to assess. For instance, if you're going to assess a laboratory, you must be having experience in operating and running a laboratory, and not just generally in that area, but in a specific area of expertise as well. And then you grow that expertise over time and build now on those skill sets before then you can apply to the respective bodies that then give you a grant, come and evaluate you and be able to confirm that you have also the competence to run that accreditation body. So it takes time. And of course, as I said, it doesn't mean that the few accreditation bodies are not able to serve. As I mentioned also, O'Brien, once you are an accreditation body, you can actually serve across any economy, so to speak. For instance, we have clients ourselves in Uganda, in South Sudan, in the Sudan, in Eritrea, in Ethiopia, in Burundi, in Zambia, in the Gambia, because of that status which we hold as an accreditation body. Equally, those other accreditation bodies operate in other economies. We have, like the South African accreditation system has some clients as well, even here in Kenya. So there is a manner in which you can actually practice across frontiers as well. Yeah.
You know, I know there must be, you know, a small business person or a business person seated somewhere and asking themselves, does Kenyans add a layer of bureaucracy in the business ecosystem, being that I have to be accredited for me to offer some services?
So let's look at it this way, O'Brien, that there is a small business which perhaps wants to be a conformity assessment body, meaning they want to do inspection, they want to do certification, they want to do testing, okay? So we'll park that on one side. But there's also a small business on one end which is producing goods, for instance. Whichever goods that SME may be dealing with. Maybe they want to process meat for export. Maybe they want to export horticultural produce, or not even just export, even for the local market. Now, does KENAS add a layer of bureaucracy? No. In any case, KENAS then is meant to facilitate trade, in the sense that if we go to the SME 1, which was to explore the aspects of being a certification body or testing or inspection, when you get accreditation, it means that you can actually practice more. You can get more clients and you can charge better. You have more opportunities. Like, for instance, we have accredited entities that undertake certification, and they do work across the continent. Because then you have more opportunities to undertake your work. So we don't do it to increase the layer of bureaucracy. If you are on the other hand as a small, medium-sized enterprise that is seeking to grow your business, accreditation adds value in the sense that if we have accredited the entity that will perhaps come and certify your products, it means that they will come and your products will be more acceptable in the country and beyond, meaning that you can penetrate more markets because your products are certified, and you've also enhanced your processes because accreditation in itself, whichever way you look at it, be it on the final beneficiary of accredited services or the accreditation, the body that is accredited, we have very demonstrated evidence, and we have actually undertaken research, and we've received feedback that people enhance their service quality. People are more, entities are more responsive. Entities are more keen on quality when they benefit from accredited services than those who are not seeking or are benefiting from those services.
Very good. I mean, if you're just joining us, we're in the company of Dr. Walter Ongeti, the CEO of Kenya Accreditation Service, and our conversation tonight is how we can facilitate trade as well as socio-economic development through accreditation services. We are 30 minutes down the line, and we are continuing with this conversation once we come back after this break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're having a good conversation here with Dr. Walter Ongeti, the CEO of Kenya Accreditation Service. And the question we're asking ourselves is, what is the role of KENAS in facilitating trade as well as driving socio-economic transformation here in Kenya? It's a critical agency. And before we went for the break, you were helping us understand how KENAS doesn't add up a layer of bureaucracy in doing business here in Kenya. But now help us understand, you know, when you look at Kenya, it is targeting the regional as well as the African market through the African Continental Free Trade Area, you know, agreement. And for you to expand, to export your product, let's say from Kenya, you need to meet a certain a quality threshold. How do you come in?
Yes, thank you so much, O'Brien. As we were saying just before the break, in any case, accreditation breaks the bureaucracies. And that is where it fits in very well in terms of your current question of the existing AFCTA and many other opportunities that exist, like the just expired AGOA opportunity, and we are looking forward to you know, future opportunities that arise from those agreements. We now even have you know, the other agreements that have been signed by the the government of Kenya with the EU, with UK, and all these other
the East African community,
the East African community, COMESA. All these opportunities are doorways to trade for our people in the country, but also from those other countries to, you know, ease the movement of goods and services across borders. But it is not free fall, that once an agreement has been signed, you'll pick your items in whichever form and nature and you know, take them across the borders. That those goods and services must meet quality, accepted quality. They must have certain standards, and they also must meet certain technical specifications. You know, you can imagine a scenario where you carry your charger, you know, it's a Type-C charger I'm carrying, and when I get to the other country, I will just get a Type-C port, and the charger should be able to fit in there. When you import a tire, or you've made a 15 size tire here, and you're saying you're exporting this tire to Uganda, and it should, somebody importing from there wants to certainly pick the tire a size 15, or the shoe, or that they are importing a kilo of meat. When they import the kg of meat, they want to receive the kg when they place it on the weighing scale. And that is where accreditation then comes in, that, we are then able to give the third-party assurance that the people who will be checking these goods and services against the specifications of those countries where these goods are going are those that meet the standards, they are properly qualified, they have the competence, and you can trust that if you get the certificate from these particular entities, you can trust that whatever you are importing from those countries, from this country or from those countries to this country, can actually be accepted in that particular manner. And therefore, the main responsibility of accreditation is to open the doors so that you don't limit, you don't create more barriers. Anytime, O'Brien, you see a lot of delays at the borders, you find heavy traffic at the borders. That there is there is a concern there. Somebody is checking. They're not trusting that perhaps whatever is in those trucks, is in those containers, meets the requirements.
Yeah.
But what accreditation does is to limit or reduce those barriers that would have existed therein by creating a layer of assurance, and therefore creating opportunities for businessmen and women to trade across borders. You may know, O'Brien, that the East African, the broader East African community has around 350 million people. Yeah. The continent is having around now 1.3 billion people.
Actually 1.4 billion people.
Absolutely. This being an opportunity for us, and we've always been saying, can we trade amongst ourselves? Can we, as a continent, maximize on the population that exists? And therefore, we as an accreditation body, of course, amongst other accreditation bodies, are saying we want to play our role, and within that quality infrastructure, which I talked about, to be able to facilitate movement of goods and services accepted across borders without so many of the technical barriers that may exist.
Very well. And I like the fact that you're bringing in the concept of technical barriers to trade, and we know that, you know, they've been a major concern when you look at, you know, technical barriers to trade. And when you look at, for example, trade, intra-Africa regional trade, you're looking at a meager 14%. When you look at other countries like the EU, you're looking at more than 70%.
Absolutely.
And so one of these has been the issue of standards, you know, quality of product. And so how do we bring on board accreditation services to ensure that we deepen intra-regional trade?
Yes, of course, O'Brien, you know, we've always hovered around the element of trust and quality. And over time, then there has been a mindset that if I want quality, I can't get it locally. Yeah, I can only, you know, get it elsewhere. And so we've, a number of Africans have always said, you know, we brag when we say, I'm putting on, you know, this suit from
an Italian suit.
Or I imported my curtains from Turkey, you know. But we forget that sometimes these goods, the raw materials, are actually right from our continent. They go out as raw materials and come back as finished products, and therefore we trust that those that are coming from the other side are of better quality than ours. What accreditation is meant to do is to enhance that trust, and we are saying that as an accreditation body, we have been checked. We have been put in a pool of peers. Our peers are other entities that are coming from those economies, by the way. My assessor here is as good as the assessor you will find anywhere else in the world in that pool that we recognize each other mutually in that regard. Yeah. So as an accreditation body, then therefore we are saying that if we play with other players in the arena, those that are setting standards, those that are then the final consumers, those that are the producers, the manufacturers, the farmers, all the stakeholders, then we are able to produce and process and trade amongst ourselves to increase the intra-Africa trade from the 14-15% to up to 60-70 and even more, because we have what it takes to be able to produce as good as any of these other
we have
countries.
the core competencies.
We have all the competence.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Let's now discuss briefly the upcoming international accreditation conference. You're bringing hundreds of delegates from around the world. How important is this meeting?
O'Brien, exactly where we stopped on the previous point is the reason, the justification for us to have this international accreditation conference. So this conference, which will be held between 11th and 13th of November in Mombasa, has attracted stakeholders from all walks of life. We have participants coming in from other accreditation bodies. We are having participants from our global accreditation body, the African Accreditation Corporation, AFRAC. We have conformity assessment bodies. We have, these are the laboratories, the certification bodies, the inspection bodies. We have researchers. We have other government entities. We have state departments. All of them converging to have a conversation of how we can enhance and grow trade through facilitating trade in that ecosystem that we have been referring to. How can we trade amongst ourselves? How can we improve quality? How can we trust that as a people we have what it takes to be able to set up systems that function well, that facilitate access of goods and services and make goods and services move within the continent and beyond, and these are goods that can then enhance and grow our economies.
Very well.
And of course then we are also creating an opportunity where we can have silos broken, because researchers are doing amazing things, academia is doing amazing things. All of them touch on trade, on industrialization, on manufacturing, on facilitation of trade, on accreditation. They may not just know that it is a concept within accreditation. So we want to sit all of us in one room and have conversations that then lead us to the next level.
And of course, this kind of meeting are putting Kenya on the international map of mice business. Help us understand this. Who is coming for this conference, and who else is welcome to attend?
So the doors are open to everybody to attend. Everybody is welcome to to attend, because
including Mama Mboga.
Absolutely, because accreditation touches the entire ecosystem. I may want to mention that, O'Brien, there is no sector of the economy that is not touched by accreditation, from manufacturing, construction, health, agriculture. All of those are affected in one way or another by accreditation. So we are inviting all the stakeholders, we're inviting all the regulators to come on board. Researchers, and we have created an opportunity where researchers can actually make presentations of their research across different thematic areas, as I've mentioned, be it health, agriculture, water, anything, name it, environment. Accreditation touches on it. We have a space for exhibition, and we are providing an opportunity, very few slots remaining for exhibition, and so far we have over 50 exhibitors who have expressed interest in exhibiting. We, as I mentioned earlier, we have so far 5 principal secretaries who have confirmed attendance. We are looking forward to receiving a number of cabinet secretaries as well. So we are looking forward to all these stakeholders attending. The newly elected chair of the Global Accreditation Corporation, his first stop is going to be
here in Kenya. Is Kenya Broadcasting Corporation welcome to partner with you?
And we're looking forward to actually, receiving a very wonderful coverage that KBC offers, and so we welcome KBC as well.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. As we wind up this conversation, help us understand, where do you see the future of accreditation here in Kenya, Africa and beyond?
It is very exciting that a number of sectors which traditionally were not interested, seemed not to dive deep in accreditation, and very much coming and getting interested and engaging us in accreditation. As we speak now, we have the first ever construction sector forum going on in Naivasha, coordinated by ourselves and the State Department of Public Works. We have previously held a water sector forum to be able to have conversation around water quality and how accreditation can enhance water quality. The one for construction is touching on every ecosystem of construction, from material testing to construction workers, to the quality of output of construction, be it roads, buildings, and so forth. So the future of accreditation is moving towards ensuring that the critical sectors that drive the economy can benefit from the catalysm or the catalyzation that will be brought on board by accreditation. And therefore, we see ourselves working with all sectors across board to be able to enhance quality, to have as many entities accredited as possible, and more importantly, not to leave out the small, medium-sized and micro enterprises, because these are the ones that really drive the economy. And therefore, we look forward to also, and we've already entered an agreement with the State Department responsible for SMEs to be able to introduce accreditation and utilize accreditation to facilitate the growth of SMEs.
Very good.
So the future is too bright, O'Brien.
I like the fact that it is going to be too bright. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. for joining us tonight on the Inside Government.
Thank you, Brian, and look forward to seeing you in Mombasa.
Oh, we are coming there.
Asante sana.
Very good. Well, I mean, accreditation is key, accreditation is critical, and for Kenya to develop and to become a newly industrialized country, accreditation is a must, and we must embrace the concept of accreditation. We've been talking to Dr. Walter Ongeti, the CEO of Kenya Accreditation Service, joining us tonight on Inside Government. My name is O'Brien Kimani. John Jacob Curia and Doreen Arangi are coming up next with the Prime Edition. Thank you. Enjoy.